Julia always believed in love. She believed in loyalty, trust, and forever. Her husband, Michael, was her everything. They were that couple people envied, always laughing, always holding hands. They had been together for 8 years, and not once did she doubt him. Until one day, everything changed. It started with the little things. Michael became distant. He spent more time at work, came home late, and his phone was always buzzing, but he never shared who was texting. Julia wanted to believe it was just stress from work, but her instincts were screaming something was wrong. One evening, while folding laundry, Julia noticed a faint lipstick stain on Michael's shirt, a color she never wore. She tried to brush it off, convincing herself it was nothing, but the unease stayed. That night, Michael came home late again, smelling of a perfume she didn't recognize. "Late meeting?" she asked, trying to sound casual. Michael didn't meet her eyes. "Yeah, the team's under a lot of pressure. We had to stay late to meet the deadline." Julia forced a smile. "You're working so hard. Don't overdo it." He kissed her on the forehead. "I'm doing this for us, for our future." But Julia's heart was uneasy. She began to notice how guarded Michael was with his phone. He would always keep it face down and took it with him everywhere, even to the bathroom. The late nights became more frequent and his excuses more elaborate. Then one afternoon, Julia was out shopping when she saw him. Michael walking hand in hand with a woman who wasn't her. They were laughing, lost in their own world. Julia felt her heart shatter into 1,000 pieces. She followed them at a distance, her chest tightening with every step. They entered a cozy cafe and sat by the window, their faces close, eyes locked. He looked at her the way he used to look at Julia. Julia stood frozen on the sidewalk, her world spinning. She felt sick, betrayed, and humiliated. She watched as they shared a dessert, laughing, their fingers touching. She could no longer deny what was right in front of her. That night, Julia confronted him. She waited until he came home, later than usual. Her eyes were red, swollen from the tears she fought to keep back. "How was work?" she asked, her voice steady. Michael looked exhausted. "Long. I'm beat." He dropped his bag and headed for the shower. Julia followed him. "Who is she?" Michael stopped mid-step. "What are you talking about?" Julia's voice cracked. "I saw you today, at the cafe, with her." His face went pale. "Julia, it's not what you think. Don't lie to me. I watched you. I saw everything. You were holding her hand, looking at her like—" Her voice broke. "Like you used to look at me." Michael ran his hands through his hair. "I didn't want you to find out this way." Julia felt the ground beneath her disappear. "So it's true. How long?" "A few months," he admitted, unable to meet her eyes. "I never meant to hurt you." Tears streamed down Julia's face. "You didn't mean to hurt me. You destroyed me. You destroyed us." Michael took a step closer. "I still care about you." "Don't," she whispered, stepping back. "Just don't." The silence that followed was suffocating. Julia turned away, wiping her tears. "I want you to leave." "Julia, please, leave." Her voice was firm, unwavering. "I can't look at you right now." Michael stood there, defeated. After a moment, he picked up his bag and walked out the door. As it closed behind him, Julia sank to the floor, her sobs echoing through the empty house. For days, Julia was lost, wandering through memories of happier times, wondering how everything fell apart. She went through photos, love notes, and mementos, questioning if any of it was real. The betrayal cut deep, and the wound felt like it would never heal. But one morning, as the sun filtered through the blinds, Julia stood up, wiped her tears, and looked in the mirror. She saw a woman who had loved deeply, who had been broken, but wasn't defeated. She whispered to her reflection, "I will survive this. I will rebuild." And with that, she took her first step toward healing, leaving behind the shattered pieces of the life she once knew.